Hi guys, welcome to another Zen Pop-Up. So in this Zen Pop-Up, what we're going to look at today is better emails. So a lot of you guys are just leaving it in the sort of plain text version. We're just going to do a few things today just to make the email just look a little bit better without getting carried away and doing too much coding or any of those things. In fact, we're not doing any coding today. We're just basically taking images that we've created inside Canva and we're going to put them in there. And we're going to talk about a few things that happen along the way that you need to watch out for when you're creating your emails for maximum deliverability. So hopefully you've watched the email on email domain authentication, because that will also help with your emails getting into people's inboxes. So if you haven't check that out, check our YouTube channel. Just search on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/c/Zenler and do email authentication, and you'll see the video going there that shows you how to do it. Okay, with that said and done, let's just jump into the site and begin the process of creating a better email. So inside the site itself, you're going to go into the email broadcast. Now, what we're showing you today can be applied to any of the places that use automations within the site. So you can still use these same practices inside email automations, in email broadcasts, or marketing funnel automations and automations in courses, or anywhere there is automations. You can use this same methodology. Okay, so we're going to jump into Canva first, and we're going to talk about a thing about sizes and those sort of things. So I'm just going to screen share now. So you can see I'm just in Canva, and what you need to do here is you just need to make sure that your images are roughly the right size for the email. So you don't want to be using huge images and then scaling them down, which you can do inside the platform, but that will mean that it's a bigger email size when it goes out. It's more likely it's going to people's spam and junk folders. So just make sure that you're using images that are approximately the right size, just to keep the image sizes really small for maximum deliverability. That is a key note to take away from this pop-up. So I'm going to go and create a new design here. I'm just going to create a basic logo that I'm just going to put in there. So I'm going to start with an image size. Now, if you're not used to image sizes, you might need to play around a little bit, but we're basically going to go with a size of about 350 by about 120, maybe 100. No, I'm going to go 150, and actually I'm going to set, yeah, so I'm going to 350, 150. Again, you can play around. Now, in my head, I know roughly what the size is, but you guys might need to play around with sizes. If you've got some editing program like Photoshop, or you're using your own editing program and you can set the sizes, that's going to be perfect, because you're going to get it exactly the size that you want to see. So we're doing it in Canva now because it's a free program. Everyone's got access to it, and you can create this stuff for free. So let's click create a design with an image size of 350 by 150. So straight away, we're going to have our canvas pop up like this. Now, what you're seeing here is not the actual size. The actual size of the image is, if I bring it down to 100, is going to be this size. Now, this should be fine. It's quite small, but I'm going to make it smaller inside the platform anyway. But it's going to be quite a small file. So what I don't want is a massive file. I don't want something that big and then I scale it down. I want to make sure. So to see the actual size you're seeing it, you can click inside here and just put this on 100%, and that will be the actual size that you're going to output this file at. So we're going to put it in here, and we're just going to create some text in here. I'm not going to do anything special. I'm just going to go my logo in here. So that's what I'm going to choose for that. I'm just going to scale this up a little bit in here. Just pretend this is my kind of logo size. And then I'm just going to grab some cool graphics if we've got anything in here. So let's look at some elements inside here, see what there is. Maybe this little chicken sticker. So we'll pretend this is for our logo, okay? So I don't know why, but there we go. So I've got that nice little thing going on there, and I'm going to change this text just to make it a bit more, a bit better. Just going to choose something like Pacifico, and just choose logo. Okay, so that will do. And this is animated, by the way, but it's not going to be animated when I output it. So I've got something like that. Okay, let's make that a bit smaller. Just making me laugh, this thing. Okay. So I also might want to put my website address underneath here. Just so just something like that. Let's put that down here. Best. Just put it there or somewhere. I don't know. Anything I like. So I can just fill this and make this design my own. You'd probably be better with, instead of 150, 100. That probably be a better size, but it depends on your logo. Your logo might be square, so you might just want to put it in square. So once I've got this image, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to output this image. Now this is an animation in here, but I'm not going to have that as an animation. So when I download it, I'm going to choose it as a JPEG, okay? So it's just going to choose it as a JPEG. I'm using the free Canva plan, by the way, so there's no excuses for not being able to follow along with what I'm doing. So I got the JPEG. I'm going to leave all this on default, and I'm just going to click download. So that's going to download that as a static image, okay? Although it's animated in here, I've just chosen a static image format, which is JPEG. So let me just show that in my folder. And there you go. You can see it inside here. So there it is. That's my logo. That's the actual size of my logo if I make this preview pane a bit bigger. So it's not very big. So now we're going to jump in and add this logo into our site. So let's just jump into email broadcast. And I'm going to go in, I'm just going to edit, no, I'm just going to create a new one. So I'm going to go in here and call it basic email. Okay, and then I'm going to click create. So inside here, we're going to have a little bit of a tour around what's going on with this email. We're going to just first of all go into here. This is the title of our email. We're going to choose all contacts from there. Or you can filter it however you like. And we're going to click next. So now we're in the actual thing that we need to do. So I'm going to put in here, new site ready for inspection. That's the title. Now notice also in here that I can personalize it. So if I've got people in my email list, I can put dear, then a space, then I can go personalization, just put their first name in there, put a comma, and like that. So now it looks like you're actually addressing someone. So it's always a good thing inside emails. Now the other thing is we can put emojis in here as well. So if I go to a new window and we just put in here emoji, I should get emoji come up, which is here. So I'm going to choose that and I'm going to put some emojis in here. So I'm going to go and just put some funny faces. So I'm going to copy that from this page. I'm going to jump back in here and I'm going to put it at the end here. So I've got a little funny face going in there, and let's just choose, I'll just choose some of the common emojis like smiley face, and they'll work best, and then just put that in there. Now why do I do this? I do this because it really stands out when it pops into people's inbox. So again, we've got personalization here. I'm going to delete this out so you can see. I don't delete out any of this bottom stuff because that needs to be in there. Mailing address needs to be in there. Unsubscribe link needs to be in there. The mailing address will be taken from your account details. So you need to make sure under your account that that mailing address is how you want it to appear in there, and that's what will appear in there. We can check that on preview anyway. So now I've cleared the information out of here. I'm just going to put dear, and then I'm going to add a personalization to the email copy. So I'm going to go in here and grab the first name again, put a comma, do a line break, and then we can put some text in there. So for the sake of text, I'm going to grab some Lorium text, as we don't want to go to Ipsum, go in here, and we're going to grab some text in here. So I'm just going to grab this text just as dummy text to put in here. Obviously you type your own. So we got some text going in, and we can change all the fonts. So what I like to do is I like to select all the font, and then I can change the size. So inside here I'm going to change this to something like 16, or you can press Control A, and watch, this will change at the bottom, and I'm going to go to the size and I'm going to choose like 18 in here. Makes it all big. Notice it's made the bottom area big as well. So if I want to make that smaller, I can just select it and go and change that into something like 12 or something, and it will look better inside there. You can do it on a per basis as well. If you put like 11 in there, and then I came back to this, I chose 18, then it looks better in there like that. So that's how you can change it. You can also change the default font. So if I select a font here, you can choose a font in here. So I quite like Arial, so I'm going to put that in Arial, nice and clear. And I'm going to do a line break now by dear. So I'm now going to put an image in here, and this is going to be the logo that we just created. So I'm going to go to image, I'm going to go to drop file in here, I'm going to click it, we're going to open up my downloads, and I should have it. I changed my downloads location, so I think it's one of these. Oh no, it's not that one. Just put it onto my desktop. Okay, there it is there. So that one there, click open, and that's going to open, and there's my logo. So my logo's in position. Now if you get this bit where there's a little bit of a space appearing, which sometimes happen, you can just go in and edit this. Now this is where you use a little bit of HTML, but it's not major, and this is one little thing that I found happens with this sometimes, is it puts this extra space in. So what I do is I put the cursor there and I just press D like that, and then I go into the code, and then where I see the D, see the D? I'm just going to go and I'm going to grab where it says P, right back to P, and I'm going to delete it. So I've just got figure. Figure stands for that image. So that's the image, and then it's the image in here. That's the code for the image. But if I delete this out and then I click this, it goes right to the top. It's just a little bit of a little bug that happens sometimes with this. Now, that looks a lot better already. So what about if I want to put an image into here? Well, again, the same applies for the size of the image. We don't want to go too big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another little design here. I'm going to create a new design, and this time I'm going to make it not too big. I'm going to make it a maximum of about 500. Actually, maybe less. Let's do 500, and let's make it longer than it is wider. So I do 500 by 400. This is not too big. It's going to be about that big, so I can bring it down a little bit. It's going to be good. So I'm going to click create new design. It's going to bring this in here. So this is the image, but this is not the actual size. Remember, the actual size that we're outputting is 100%, which is that big. So it's a bit bigger than we need, but it's not too big. The thing I'm trying to get away from here is people using massive great images. It's like if, for instance, I was to use, say, one of my print files that I've got down here. If I was to use this file, okay, this file is 20.6 megabytes. It's a huge file. It's A2 size, 600 ppi. It's a huge image. So I know people that have put these size images into their emails and then scaled them down and then sent it out, and then they just haven't gone through because they're too big. So this is why I'm saying to you, be really careful about image sizes. So we're sticking with something fairly small, but a little bit bigger than we need, so we can bring it down. So I'm going to go in and just grab any old picture from Zenler now. So let's go into photos and just grab a nice photo. That's quite a nice one. Just anything I like. Oh, we're coming up to Christmas, so why not grab that one? So I'm going to drag that in there, and I'm going to just crop it to make it work with my size. So that looks quite good. Okay. So now I'm going to output that. So I'm going to go share, I'm going to go download. I always choose JPEG, by the way. JPEGs are smaller than PNG files. Okay, so use JPEGs where you can inside your files. So we're going to leave it all the same. Notice 500 by 400. Click download. That will download. I'm going to open my folder up once it's opened. So I'm going to open my downloads folder. So here it is here. I'm just going to copy that across to my desktop there. And now I can jump back into the mail, and we're going to put this in location. So I'm going to choose the location. I've just put my cursor in here. I'm going to go to image, and I'm going to go and choose the image here, which is this one here. I'm going to click open, and that's going to open up in here. Now we can resize this. Maybe it's a little bit too big. So if I click on the image, so notice if I click on the image, I get this edit and delete, and I also get this little corner that I can change. Now this allows me to change the size of the image. So this is what a lot of people were doing. They were putting massive images in and then resizing them all down. That's why we don't want to go too much bigger than we need, and we can still bring it in. What we don't want to do is have a small image and make it bigger, because it will pixelate or go blurry. All right, so make sure you're always going down, you're never going up, otherwise it ends up blurring. So if we go down, we can bring this down a little bit down here, and that's a much better size for this particular thing. I'm also going to put the cursor there and just bring this text up. So what else can we do with images? If we click the image, you're going to see we can delete the image out. We can also edit. So edit in the image is something you should always do with all images that you put into your site. So the first bit we're going to look at is the logo. So if I go to my logo and I click edit, I'm always going to put an alt name in here. So I'm just going to call this my logo. Obviously, if it was your site, whatever it is, you might want to put whatever the name of your site is. Why use an alt text in an image? Because if people don't download your images, that is the text that will be displayed. So you need to make sure that you're telling people what it's about. You can also put down here a link. So if you want your image to link to your site, you could do that as well. So if I wanted it to link to the tutorial site, I can put the tutorials link inside there. And now that image will link to that site. So if I clicked on that, I'd go through to it. I can preview that by going down to preview. And if you look, it's now got a link over it. If you look in the left-hand corner down the bottom here, it says tutorials.zenler.com. So, and it's also got an alt image. You can't see the alt text on this image. Notice that. You can only see it when it downloads to people's inbox and they haven't showing images. So it shows what it says before. So it's always a good practice to do that. So I'm going to do the same with this as well. I'm going to make sure I've got alt text on this. And I'm not going to put a link with this one. 2022. So I'm just put Christmas 2000. So it's just naming what it is. Image, and then I'm going to click save. So I make sure I always put that any links, I put link in there, and I put always use the alt text for any images that you're using, and that goes for your website as well. Check your images on your website, make sure you put alt tags on them as well. So what else can we do in here? If we go to the edit for this, you can see you've got a thing called position. So we can also position this inside the text, and what this means is the text will wrap around it. So let's try putting this right to start with and click save. Now you'll notice that if I change the position of this image, it will be part of the text, which looks really cool. So if I click edit again and I make this left this time, you're going to see it's going to shoot over to the left hand side. So you can place your images wherever you like. You could even put it into the center if you wanted to as well, which won't look very good in here, but it just drops down and clears left and right. So this is a really good way of being able to do this as well. So I'm going to put this in on the right hand side and click save. So that's how you can add images and make things look so much better for your site. I also advise you use something like Canva and create maybe a signature at the end and use that. So that's the final thing we're just going to jump in and do. So I'm going to go into Canva once more. I'm going to create a new design, and inside here I'm going to set this size on about 200, actually 100 by 300 actually. But you know what, 200 by 60 should be fine. I'm going to click create that. It's going to give me, oh, done it wrong way around. So let me just change this. So height, let's go, I'm going to go 40, 60, and I don't think I need it that long. I'm going to do 150, and I'm going to click create. So I've got the right size. Okay, so that's going to be good, and that way I can put a signature in here. Let's go and choose this. Let's choose some handwriting from here. So I could use Pacifico. I quite like this one. So let's say David. And let's take that. Let's make this bigger. I want to fill this area up. I don't want to go too far, but that's good. So now I've got a nice little end signature to put in. So, and that's going to look nice. And I'm going to click on share. I'm going to go download. I'm going to save this again as a JPEG, and I'm going to click download. That's going to go into my download folder, and I'm going to open that up, show in folder. I'm going to drag that onto my desktop there, and we jump back into the mail. I'm just going to end this. All the best, and then underneath it. By the way, return, you can hit enter. If you want to do a soft return, you can hold the shift and press enter, and that'll give you a soft return then, like this. Soft return means just one line break. So we're going to now go into our image, and we're going to choose the signature that I put onto my desktop. I'm going to click open. That's going to load in here, and now I've got a beautiful little signature just to end my email. So that is how that all works. I'm going to also put in here the alt tag for it, and that's it. And now we can preview this mail, and this is what we've got. So much better than the default look and feel. Now we can also add bits to this if we want to as well. We can make certain parts bolder. So I can go all about the best learning system. And then I can take this and I could change it. So I could go in here and I can make it bold like that, which stands out. And also I could come in here and I could change the formatting to like a heading, H2 heading. So you could have these, I could copy this as well and come down here, maybe put another line in there like that. And now I've got something that looks even better in here. Now also I can put links in here as well. So remember, you have links. So inside here I could have read more and then a couple of arrows. I've done that on purpose as capitals. And I could go in here and I could add a link. So I can click link, insert link. And let's just go to the live summit or something and click insert, and now I've got a link in there as well. So also you can come in here and you can use different formats. You've got quotes, there's lots of different heading styles that you can add to this. You can also select and make strike throughs or italicize or make them bold. You can also use lists in here as well if you want to build some lists, and you can color the text and things like that. So if I want to color the text of that, make it a little bit brighter, I can go in and make it like orange. I could come down to this one, change the text to this and make it kind of a purpley color, and preview that and see. You can build this up and just make it look really, really nice. So no excuses, it's still nice plain text, easy to work editor, and this is how you can add your logo, images in there. You can also add a sign off signature if you want to as well. So that is all about that. I hope you've enjoyed this Zen pop-up. Remember to always test as well. So you can send a test email to yourself down here, and that will go off to you. Just check that in all devices. That's phone, that's tablets, that's on the desktop as well. Make sure it all works and you should be set. So create better emails, get started today, and I'd love to see what you guys have done.